हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्यामा कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। जय। मथुरापुरी वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। श्याम वेद भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Hare Hare Bol. We will read today Canto 1, Chapter 17 and text number 30. So I will read it 3 times and you please recite after that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasa Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashtrapayesu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistuki. So text number 30. Patitam Padayor Viraha Kripaya Dinavatsalaha Saranyo Navadhi Shlokya aha chedam hasan iva. Patitam padayor viraha kripaya dinavatsalaha saranyo navadich shlokya aha vedam hasan iva. Patitam padayor viraha kripaya dinavatsalaha Saranyo Navadich Shlokya aha chedam hasan iva. Please recite.
Patitam padayor vira kripaya dinavatsala saranyo navadik shlokya aha chedam hasan iva.
Patitam padayor vira kripaya dinavatsala sharanyo navadich shlokya aha chedam hasan iva.
Patitam padayor vira kripaya dinavatsala saranyo navadichokya ahachedam hasaniva.
Mother Muktidatri. It's not there.
Okay, so let us do word to word translation. Patitam, fallen. Padayoha, at the feet. Viraha, the hero. Kripaya, out of compassion. Dinavatsala, kind to poor. Saranyo, one who is qualified to accept surrender. No, not. Avadita, did kill. Shlokya, one who is worthy of being sung. Aha, said. Cha, also. Idam, this. Hasan, smiling. Eva, like. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaja Parikshit, who was qualified to accept surrender and worthy of being sung in history, did not kill the poor surrendered and fallen Kali, but smiled compassionately, for he was kind to the poor. Purport. Even an ordinary Kshatriya does not kill a surrendered person. And what to speak of Maharaj Parikshit, who was also by nature compassionate and kind to poor. He was smiling because the artificially dressed Kali has disclosed his identity as low-class man, and he was thinking how ironic it was that although no one was saved from his sharp sword when when he desired to kill, the poor low-class Kali was spared by his timely surrender. Maharaj Parikshit's glory and kindness are therefore sung in the history. He was a kind and compassionate emperor, fully worthy of accepting surrender even from his enemy. Thus, the personality of Kali was saved by the will of providence. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunvitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namah Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschatya Deshtarine. So actually, we are reading this chapter, Punishment and Reward of Kali, and we are seeing here that how expertly Maharaj Parikshit gives residence to the surrendered Kali, because Kali surrendered to him. So far we read that Maharaj Parikshit testified Dharma, who is in the form of bull, and also Mother Cow, who was the Mother Earth, who was in the form of a cow. So these two, we can see that Maharaj Parikshit actually was trying to save them from Kali, because Kali was hitting the bull and was hurting the bull and the cow both. So he already broke the 3 legs of the bull, and bull was standing on only 1 leg. So Maharaj Parikshit actually pulled out his sword, and he was ready to kill, like we read yesterday, Shloka, that he was ready to kill. And because Kali was causing, the irreligion in the society, that's why Maharaj Parikshit didn't wanted this kind of person in his kingdom, and he wanted to actually kill him. And when Maharaj Parikshit, actually, when the Kali saw that Maharaj Parikshit has his sword ready to kill him, and we know that Kali didn't have any ability to actually fight with a great Kshatriya king like Maharaj Parikshit, so he knew, so he actually gave up it, because there was no other way for him. So, and then he actually, yesterday, like we read, he took out his kingly dress, royal dress, threw it out, and he bent his head. And he surrendered by bowing his head. So he bowed his head, and he surrendered completely. And that's why we are reading here in the purport that Maharaj Parikshit actually was smiling compassionately. Why he smiled, Prabhupada has given that although no one is saved from his sword when he desired to kill, that's what he was smiling, that he was thinking that how it was that no one was saved from his sharp, because whenever, Maharaj Parikshit went, with his sword and he started fighting, he will kill everybody, he has so much power that he can simultaneously fight with 1,000 soldiers at one time, same time. So he was being so powerful, and this Kali, had no power at all, and he wanted to kill him, and he could not kill him because he surrendered. So timely surrender is very important for all of us. Actually, if we surrender to Lord, the Supreme Lord is so merciful and so compassionate that he can actually, we can save our lives, by surrendering to the Lord. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Madhya Lila, there is very nice slok, Anukulasya Sankalpa Pratikulasya Varjana Rakshayasti Vishwaso Gopatre Varnam Tatha Atmanispeksh Karpanye Shadavidhi Sharanagati. So these are the 6 angas or divisions of Sharanagati. So Anukulasya Sankalpa means accepting those things which are favorable to our bhakti. And opposite to that, we have to reject those things. Pratikulasya varjanam, rejecting those things which are not good for our surrender to the Supreme Lord. So this goes together, that we have to accept those things which are favorable to devotion, and unfavorable things we should reject and accept the things which are favorable. So these two things are very important, and they go everywhere. These two rules actually supersedes all the rules and regulations of bhakti. The third thing is rakshayasti vishwaso. We have to have full faith that Lord will protect me in all circumstances. So if we have that kind of faith, then we will not worry about anything in this material world. So we have to have that kind of faith to the Lord, that Lord will definitely will protect me. Another thing, we have to have Gopatra Varna. That means accepting the God as one's maintainer, that everything, I'm not doing anything. Lord is providing me everything. And actually he's providing. It's not like it's just a statement, Lord is providing. Who is giving us air? Without air, we can die in few minutes only. Who is providing us water? Who is providing us all these trees, all these vegetables, all these grains, fruits? Who is providing milk? Everything is provided by Supreme Lord. So we have to be thankful, and we have to accept that statement that Lord is providing me everything. And that's why we should be grateful to the Supreme Lord. Other thing, Atman is Nikshepa. That means surrendering everything to God's service. So whenever there is God's service, each and everything what we earn or what we do by our activity, we should actually surrender all those things in the Lord's service. Like we do puja in the home, we buy groceries. If we are grahastha, is staying out of temple, not in the temple, then whatever we buy, we should buy on the name of Krishna, that okay, I'm buying it to offer the bhoga to Lord. Or buying a house, we should think it's not like, oh, this house is for my comfort or my show up, that I have so big house. We have to have a house that, okay, I will have the temple room built nicely and serve the Lord in this house. So this is the main purpose of the house actually. So the family, husband and wife, and along with children, they can serve the Supreme Lord. So that thing is very important. And if we have that kind of mentality and have the house, and then that will be really great. And other anga is cultivating a human attitude. Karpanya. Karpanya means a very humble attitude. Like we have in the Shikshashtakam, Tranadapi Sunichena, Tharori Usashanam, Amani Namani Dena, Kirtaniya, Sada Hari. So that kind of attitude, we have to have very, very humble attitude. And we see so many devotees have this kind of attitude, and they are very elevated souls, which does not think anything to themselves, but give all the respect to others, not accepting any kind of respect from others, So those kind of people are so good. So what is the most important thing? One word thing in the all the characteristics, which actually prevents us from accepting the Lord's service actually, which doesn't let us surrender to the Supreme Lord. So can anybody say what is that thing which actually blocks us, to go to Krishna or to surrender to Krishna? What is that thing? Anybody would like to say anything?
Thinking that we are the controllers.
Yeah, but more than that, that's also right. But there are so many things, but which is the most important? One word.
Desire?
Yes, that's also right. Anything else?
Is that surrender we're talking about?
Yes. So what thing blocks us to surrender fully? Why we cannot surrender? Everybody
And the
cannot
body.
really surrender.
Big
Huh?
body.
What is that, Mataji?
And the body,
I am the body, not the soul, and body is for enjoyment.
Attachment, Prabhuji, attachment.
Attachment. Yes, that's also right. Okay, the most important thing actually is the ahankar, the false ego. not the real ego. Real ego is good, that I am the servant of the servant of the servant. But false ego actually is the one single most important item which prevents us to surrender to the Supreme Lord fully. So because when we have the false ego, then ahankar means what? Aham, aham, aham. Aham means, me, I. And so that actually blocks us, everything we think about ourselves, not about the Supreme Lord. Actually, we should think everything about the Supreme, we don't think that way. And that is the biggest problem. So because if you think I'm the Dasarya Das, Anudas, then actually we will not have any trouble. And all the 6 things, Kam, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, these all things actually comes because we have the false pride. Otherwise, these things will not come. If you think that I'm the servant of the servant of the servant, then this ahankar and Kam, Krodh, Lobh, nothing will come actually. So ahankar is the most important thing that we should not have it. Then we can surrender to Krishna. The Gaudiya Vaishnava actually have the 10, because we read about the 6 divisions of surrender or 6 anga of the surrender, but they consider 10 different principles for surrender. They say Dainya, then Atma Nivedan, then Gopatre Varna. Gopatre Varna means accepting one as a maintainer, accepting the Lord, Supreme Lord, as the maintainer of everything. And then Avashya Rakshive Krishna, that Krishna will actually protect me. The next one is Bhakti Anukula Matra Kariya Svikar. It's the same thing, accepting those things which are favorable to devotion. Next is Bhakti Pratikul Bhava Varjanam Angikar. So we should not do anything which is unfavorable in Krishna service. Then we should have Bhajan Lalasa. That we should have Lalasa. Actually, Bhajan Lalasa, if we have all 24 hours of Bhajan Lalasa, and that means, okay, I'm actually missing the Bhajan, so Bhajan Pratikriya, if we have that Lalasa all the time, then actually nothing can take us away from Krishna. We can be very, very close. So Bhajan Lalasa is very important, Anga of Bhakti. And Siddhi Lalasa, that I will get this liberation. Definitely, then we should have firm faith in that. And we have to act accordingly. Then next stage, Vigyapti, and then Sri Nam Mahatmya. So if we have that what is the significance of Lord's name, how great it is. If we know that, then actually we can be winner in this life. Our life will be perfect, and we can definitely get. So because understanding the Mahatmya of the name, how important it is, what is the great significance of the name, then actually that is the greatest thing. In the philosophy of Ramanujacharya, which is Vishishtadvaita philosophy, and they consider the 5 angas very important. They think acknowledgement of the one's helplessness. That means we have to acknowledge that I cannot do this, I cannot do that, I'm very helpless. If we think that way, that I'm completely helpless, then we will take the shelter of Lord. That Lord will give me all the courage and all the power and everything to do. I'm doing everything because of Supreme Lord. Otherwise, I cannot do anything. Even we do bhakti, that's also by mercy of Krishna. Otherwise, we cannot do it. So somebody wants to do bhakti, still he cannot do it. It has to have mercy of Lord. Other thing, we have determination to not err again. Because many times we make mistake and we don't learn any lesson. So we should, once we make mistake, we should actually feel sorry that I did this mistake, and then have determination that I will not repeat it again. Because otherwise we will keep repeating, like not chanting sincerely one day, and then we will know that I'm not chanting seriously. I'm thinking so many different things, and in between I will stop so many times, chanting, and I'm not doing it in the Brahma Muhurta time. So once we know this thing, at that point, actually we should not repeat it next day, like that. So if you have that kind of determination, then definitely we can improve. Otherwise, we keep all our life, unattentive chanting. And that's why what happens, we don't get the benefit. Because we can get benefit of Nam chanting, first thing, we make so many aparadha while we chant. So aparadha has to stop, then we should not, if aparadha happens 1 or 2 times, then we should try to see that we don't repeat it again. Because if we keep repeating, that means we are not serious about bhakti. The third one, they believe that going to follow the rules, that we have to follow the rules, regulation of sadhana bhakti very strictly. Then only we can improve. Otherwise, we just take it very easy, And fourth one is possessing a unshakable faith that God is the sole refuge. That thing is very important, that there is no other shelter than the Supreme Lord. If we believe in that unshakable faith, that means the faith should be so firm in believing that God is sole refuge. There is no other shelter for me. Because otherwise, we think, oh, my father will save me, or my mother will save me, or this guy will give me money and I can do this and I can do this. If you have this kind of faith, then forget about bhakti, then it will not be fruitful too much, Of course, it will be beneficial, but not getting you to go through the liberation, and the going to the goal of Vrindavan, serving the Lord. It may take millions of lifetimes, So we have to have firm faith in the Supreme Lord that He is the only refuge for me. I can only take His shelter, not somebody else's shelter. And seeking God as one's protector. Whatever happens to me, God will protect me. If we have that faith completely, then that will be good. So Chaitanya Charitamrita actually shows that there are 2 kinds of devotees. One, who are fully satiated and free from all material desires. So this is the one kind of people who are completely satiated, means they are satisfied with whatever bhakti they are doing, and they are free from the material desires. And second kind of people who are fully surrendered to the lotus feet of Lord. So which kind of people are good? The second kind, who are the fully surrendered. Because both looks like who are fully satisfied and free from material desires. So we think, those kind of people also are good, Of course, they are good, but people who are fully surrendered actually at Krishna's lotus feet, they have other quality also. What other quality? Atma Samarpan. Atma Samarpan comes up after fully surrendering to the Lord. Otherwise, we are not completely surrendered. So Atma Samarpan is very important anga, which comes only not just by satisfaction, because anybody can get like chant, read little bit and see I'm fully satisfied, I'm doing very good bhakti. Anybody can actually say that, but we have to fully surrender to the Lord, then that bhakti will be more fruitful. Other thing, devotee has to accept everything that is favorable and rendering the transcendental loving service to the Lord. He must reject everything unfavorable to the Lord's service. And this is called actually unfavorable things, rejecting them. That means renunciation, like sannyasi does. Okay, leaving the wife, leaving the house, leaving so all these things they rejecting, all the clothing, what they wear in the material world, rejecting all those things, they just live very simple life. So that kind of thing is important. And devotee must firmly convince that Krishna will give him protection, because that faith has to be there. The devotee should accept that Krishna is the supreme maintainer and master. And we have to actually self-surrender, means remembering Krishna, that one's activities and desires are not independent. We have to have all our activity and all our desires like matching with Krishna's desires, not like we should have independent desires. So those things we should not have. And we have to be very meek and humble. So those are the good qualities. When a devotee does fully surrender to Krishna's lotus feet, Krishna definitely accepts him as one of his confidential associate, and that's written in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that's very great statement. Other statement is written in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 29th chapter, 34th shloka, also in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in the both books it is written, the living entity who is subject to birth and death attains immortality when he gives up all material activities. So when because as a living entity, we are subjected to birth and death and attain immortality when we give up all material activity, dedicate his life to the execution of my order and acts according to my direction. So when we listen to that Lord's directions according to the Shastras and execute all the orders given by the Lord, in this way, one becomes fit to enjoy the spiritual bliss derived from exchanging loving mellows with me. So that's what Lord Krishna is saying, that person, who follows my directions very seriously and perform all the activity according to my directions, they are the great person and they have the loving exchange with me, no doubt about that. So there are so many great examples also in all the Vedic literature, like Draupadi during Vastraharan. In the beginning she was holding her sari, but later on she knew that my holding will not work. Dushasana has so much power, of so many elephants. So she gave up actually, and then she lifted her hand, whatever happens, believing fully that Krishna will protect me. And then immediately within 1 second, Krishna started providing the sari, and that really helped her, So other is Kunti Devi, how many times she had the troubles, and what happened, Krishna each time helped because she had firm faith in Krishna. And that's why she requested, oh Lord, please give me more and more trouble, more and more misery, so we can remember you more and more, and you can come and help us more and more times. So she wanted to have the darshan that when there is trouble, Krishna will come and then we can get his darshan also. So this kind of, and the best example is actually Uttara's example, that we know how Uttara, without any shame, she just ran to Krishna and he told her that please help me, please help me. So that is the real kind of surrender, So she surrendered completely within 1 second, not thinking twice that who will help her, She knows Krishna is right here. He was almost leaving for Dwarika. At that time, she ran to the Lord Krishna's chariot and she requested. So actually that she gives, because Parikshit Maharaj was in her womb, and then Krishna actually saved Parikshit Maharaj because he was the only heir to all the Pandavas, otherwise everybody was dead, almost, because so Parikshit Maharaj actually, after Yudhishthira being, everybody left, for the Golok Vrindavan. Then what happened? Then Parikshit Maharaj took over, and Yudhishthira Maharaj actually himself did the Rajabhishek for him. And so Kunti Devi, we know that in the beginning she requested Bhishma Pitama and all those, Draupadi requested everybody, all the senior people in the family to help. But actually nobody could help her, and then she has to request Lord Krishna, that please help me. Uttara also, she had Ananya Bhakti, Ananya Ashray to the Krishna, and that's why Krishna immediately helped her, and he went and he protected. He went in the womb of Uttara and he protected Parikshit Maharaj right there. He covered completely from all sides to Parikshit Maharaj. So we can see how merciful Krishna is. And so let us go back to the shloka. So here is saying Maharaj Parikshit, who was qualified to accept surrender. So Maharaj Parikshit was completely, if somebody surrenders to him, he will give protection. That was the promise by all the Rajarshi kings. If somebody comes for protection, then they will get protection, no doubt about it. So this way he got protection. The Kali got protection. Then that's what he did not kill the poor surrendered fallen Kali. He knew Kali is really very third-class person, low person, but still he gave the protection because he was so much compassionate. He has so much compassion. And he was kind to the poor also. So this compassion is also great character which Parikshit Maharaj has. And so what is compassion actually? Compassion is a person who is paradukha dukhi, that he cannot bear the another's distress. is called a compassion. He is compassionate, compassionate person actually should not cannot see anybody's dukkha, like we have in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, the case of that, oh Lord, please give me all the dukkha, all the miseries, and let everybody get liberated. So Vasudeva Datta. So Vasudeva Datta that have that kind of mentality, that he cannot see other people suffer. So he said that I can rot in the narak for millions and billions of years, but let everybody get liberated. I want to take all their sins and please punish me, not everybody else. Everybody should be happy. So who can have that kind of, compassion for all the jiva souls? But many people have that. And Sri Prabhupada also expressed this compassion through his preaching, that he was very happy, we know, in the Vrindavan Dham. He was with all the sannyasis, all the sadhus, great devotees there. And he was in Radha Damodar temple. He was writing books, really living in Dham, associating with the devotees. So he was happy. Anybody will be happy in Vrindavan Dham doing these things, but he had compassion for, and there was order for his Guru Maharaj, so to fulfill that order. But more importantly is his compassion, that he came to Western country with only 40 rupees, and he suffered so many heart attacks, 2 heart attacks, and then he was penniless practically. What is 40 rupees? Nothing. No value in USA anyway. He never used those 40 rupees. He took it back to India actually. So the rupees didn't help him actually, but and see, he didn't know what he will eat there, what will happen, where he will get shelter. He didn't know. When we go anywhere, we reserve our hotel before, and we rent a car, and so many arrangements we do before going anywhere. But see, Prabhupada came here in the country where nobody knew him, but still he had so much faith in the Supreme Lord that he will protect me. This is the real faith in the Supreme Lord. So, and so much compassion. And because he has like a divine force, driving force was the preaching actually, that preaching. And so that's why we said that that's the purity actually. Purity means that devotee has no desire other than please the Krishna. So that's the purity. When we will get pure? When we have desire to serve Krishna fully and preach about Krishna and nothing else. If we have that, that means we are pure. People say, first you clean your heart, but how you clean your heart? We should have that desire just to please the Krishna, nobody else, because we try to please our wife, we try to please husband, we try to please our children, try to please everybody, not to Krishna. And that's our biggest mistake actually. We should please to Supreme Lord. So pure devotee therefore preaches to fulfill the desire of Krishna, because Lord Krishna actually very compassionate also, and he wants all the jiva souls to come back to him because he loves all of us. So if he preach and let the people go to Lord Krishna, Krishna will be very happy. That's why Krishna says people who preach, Krishna will be very happy with them. So gives this knowledge, to other people. That's the greatest person. The great devotee Prahlad Maharaj expressed this spirit of compassion. We can see his compassion. Prahlad Maharaj says that I am not at all afraid of material existence, because material existence will stay here forever. This is not going to go. But actually, many people say, oh, when I get older, now I'm working, my kids are young, I cannot do bhakti properly. Now, when I get older, I will do the bhakti. But never favorable time will come actually, never ever. So we should not wait for anything, because bhakti doesn't wait or doesn't depend on anything. If we have just our consciousness like that, even unfavorable conditions, many times we have seen, people ask Radhanath Maharaj that my husband is not favorable, my in-laws doesn't let me do the chanting or anything, whole day I'm busy. So Radhanath Maharaj says that you give up your sleep, get up in the night time, 4 o'clock, even in your bed, you can just chant, take the mala and chant. And so that's why he said, whenever you get time, read little bit, so that way, but never stop bhakti, so that was Radhanath Maharaj's advice actually. So bhakti, we should not wait for anything, that let me get the proper environment, favorable environment for bhakti. favorable environment will never come. Even we go to Himalaya, our dirty brain is with us, our mind, which is our enemy if it is not favorable to bhakti. So even we go to Himalaya and try to do bhakti, they are okay, very peaceful now, no so nice tree, but we will get bored in 2-3 days because our mind is there. It will say, okay, let me see my phone. If somebody send me any message or if I have any email or something, So those things will always be there. It's not like when you go to Himalaya, you can do bhakti, That's not possible actually. We have to have consciousness, proper consciousness to do bhakti and great desire, lalasa. Lalasa is very important. If we have that kind of lalasa, then we can definitely do very nice bhakti. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, my concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness. That's why most of the materialistic people do. They make elaborate plan. I'll be happy with this. I'll be happy with this. If I bake this thing, then I will be actually do more. I can be happy, enjoy this thing, enjoy that thing. So that's what we all the time plan for happiness and maintaining the family and society and country. This is all sense gratification actually, thinking first thing about our family, then ourselves first, then our family, then society, and then country, This is all extended sense of gratification actually. I am simply concerned with love for them. So, but Prahlad Maharaj was so compassionate that he wanted them to have their consciousness purified, So this is the actually compassion. And Srila Prabhupada all the time in his life, honored Prahlad Maharaj's expressions, what he expressed in his shloka actually. So Prahlad Maharaj actually, before Prabhupada came in America, we know how happy he was with all the saintly persons and holiest place in the universe, Vrindavan, still he came here. Out of compassion, we know that how Prabhupada had difficulties, like he opened the refrigerator and he has to put his prasadam in his milk, next to the meat, which was the food for the cat. So we can imagine, that how many difficulties he got, as a Vaishnava, how he doesn't want to even see the meat, but meat was right there next to his food, but he tolerated. So this is the great compassion for, and he came only for all of us actually. Otherwise, if Prabhupada was not here, we can all imagine, what will be our condition, where we would be in that condition, We should think about that, how much mercy we have of Prabhupada, and everything we are doing actually by his mercy only. Without his mercy, we could not improve at all in our bhakti. So he is the main force behind what we can do. And also Chaitanya Maharaj, Lord Chaitanya's actually benediction is on us, in this age, because he said that in the Kali, it's very easy to do bhakti, not like doing 60,000 years tapasya. What Mother Parvati did, we need not to do that kind of thing, because we live very short life, and just by chanting the Lord's name, we can get liberated. So it's so easy in this Kali Yuga, Kali has so many defects, faults, but actually this is the greatness of Kali Yuga, that we just by chanting the name, we can get liberated. So Prabhupada was actually determined and very compassionate. Although he had many obstacles, but still he had no money, he had no friends in the USA, he had the heart attacks at the sea, so much Indian bureaucracy, getting his passport and all those things, and getting the ticket to here. So these all things, were problems for him, but he took all these troubles for all of us actually. So Srila Prabhupada actually, we are discussing actually here that how Parikshit Maharaj intended to kill, and he could not kill because he surrendered. So once we see that somebody is surrendering, then at that time actually, like Parikshit Maharaj became a great hero, and he was so compassionate to poor, is written in the he was very kind to the poor and compassionate. And because of his compassion, actually, so we can see how Parikshit Maharaj was compassionate, that he actually wanted to kill, but he did not kill the Kali. And he smiled actually, and we can see the reason that whenever I wanted to kill, I kill, but my God, I cannot kill this guy because he surrendered to me. So that's what he was smiling actually. So when a poor person actually, low class man, artificially dresses like him, actually he should not dress like a, because he was third class man, he should not dress like a Kshatriya and then surrender, because Kshatriya never surrenders to anybody. Kshatriya all will get killed or win the war. Only two things, nothing third one. Like we see, we all heard the story of the one Kshatrani who did not open the door for her husband because some ministers told that the king is returning back and he lose the war. And he said, lock the doors, and don't open for him, So this kind of Kshatranis are present, in the modern days, like even like 300-400 years ago, 200 years ago. So in the Rajasthan, so we can imagine, how Kshatriya has, even their wives has determination that Kshatriya should never show the back, all the time, either win or die. So only two things. So he was not Kshatriya because he surrendered, because surrender is not in their dictionary actually, in the Kshatriya dictionary. So he was not Kshatriya king. He was Shudra king, low grade Shudra. So he was a pretender actually. He was dressed like a king, but he was not. And those kind of kings we see in the modern age. All our ministers we can see, all our leaders, all the ministers, administrators, executive heads, everybody, they are so powered, they will rule and they will say, okay, go and do this war, that war, but they will be hiding somewhere. So that's not the real war. In the olden age, Kshatriya kings were on the front row actually, and they will save everybody, they will die for the country. So that was the determination. Nowadays, those Kshatriya kings are not there. That's why we all are suffering. Otherwise, they were Rajarshis actually, and that's why Prabhupada all the time favors. And he was telling this democracy like a demon crazy. So they are demons actually, and they are really got crazy. So that's why the monarchy was good, but king has to be real king, Kshatriya king, and also he should know, and they should be Rajarshi, they should know and respect the Brahmins, Brahminican culture, and then everything can be very, very pure. In Kali Yuga also, if Satyuga can come, if that kind of thing can happen, but Kali Yuga is for fall down and people are getting so materialistic. So Parikshit Maharaj is so compassionate nature that he didn't kill the Kali, but because he surrendered out of fear actually, and he disclosed that I'm a low class man. And so actually he has to excuse, he has no other choice, Parikshit Maharaj, that somebody surrenders, they have to give him the freedom. In this material world, actually, so many people we come across, the different kind of people who actually give us so much pain, and they cause pain. Somebody may cause suffering to us. Somebody actually causes anxiety. Somebody may disturb our sleep. So many bad people are in this material world, but actually we should tolerate them, because we have to learn how to tolerate rather than keep thinking that why he did this to me. Why people will tell us all the time, you cannot actually block somebody to think different way or do something. Somebody tells bad things about a lie about us, but we should not pay attention. We should just continue with our bhakti, because many times think somebody says something bad to us, like we hear that thing that this guy was telling something like this to me, then we get hurt, but we should not think about that, because people will all the time say something about us, bad thing, good thing, whatever it is, but we should just do the right thing and think, that I have done my thing right, the way I should do, and then don't worry about the people. They will criticize all the time, So we should tolerate it, and we should not actually feel any grudge against them, because if we have grudge and anything against other people, then we cannot do our bhakti properly. So that thing is also very important, that we should not keep anything bad, ill feeling about anybody. And that way, actually, we can continue with our bhakti. So those things are important for our bhakti. People even criticize or not, they say bad things are not about us, but we should not worry. And we should actually give credit. We should be thankful to our spiritual master, to senior Vaishnavas, to Acharyas, everybody. We should be very thankful, because we have, even Lord Krishna gets so much grateful, and he did so many small things for Pandava. Why? Because he was so grateful that these are so good devotees. They all the time remembering me. So that was the reason, that Krishna gets very happy if somebody actually feel the gratitude, like like Yudhishthira Maharaj and all the Pandavas. They all the time felt so grateful, and Krishna was grateful to them also. So that way it goes hand in hand, So we have to be thankful to our spiritual master, and then spiritual master will see our hard work, and Krishna will also see, because we need not to have the show up kind of thing, that, okay, I distributed so many books or this or that, but actually Krishna is seeing, he's right in our heart as a super soul. So we need not to give any proof, that I did this thing, or I give so much donation or anything, people want their name, but that is not the proper bhakti, not the proper charity. So we should just make sure that Krishna is happy. If everybody, whole world is unhappy, that's fine. But if the Krishna is pleased with our work, then our job is done properly. So in Kali Yuga, we have so many people dressed with nice suit, nice tie. We will see those kind of people everywhere nowadays. And but with nice BMW, nice tie, everything. But then those kind of people, if you talk to them, you will know that they are low class people, all the time talk about how to enjoy the money just by sense of gratification. So there is no use of associating with these kind of people. A devotee should always associate with the devotee only, not non-devotees. We should not associate it, because we have all the chances that they can contaminate our mind, because we are living in Kali Yuga actually. So if we are determined that we should not associate, so proper association is very important also for us. So if we properly associate and do our bhakti properly, then there is a lot of hope for all of us that we can actually try in few lifetime only for liberation. Otherwise, if we cannot keep our two legs, one on the land and one on the boat. We can never do that, because we will be right nowhere actually that way. So we should either forget about sense of gratification and gratify the senses of Krishna only. Then our bhakti will be proper. So I will like to end here. We still have a little time, and we can, if there is something we can discuss, I'll be happy to discuss. So any question, comment, please go up for that, and let us discuss.
Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Dandat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, when we are, trying to convince the people about the Krishna's shelter, you already discussed about this in the just might be first time in this today's class. Really, we're trying to them, but they are trying to say, the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, all the scripture said, we are really not doing anything. Is Krishna is doing anything? Means Krishna is doing everything. Then everything belongs to Krishna. But that's the general people trying to say, okay, then if it is Krishna is doing everything, then why we are need to be going to the shelter of the Krishna? Then I'm this right now is my position. It's Krishna's desire. That's why I'm not going to, the bhakti anything. When he will be convince me, or he will be, like blessing me, then I'll go to the join for the Krishna Prasad. I don't know what we need to.
That's actually their best fortune, because we have to try. Krishna doesn't say that you just sit down and I will do everything. Krishna is actually doing everything for, like Arjun has to fight, in the battlefield. It's not like Krishna just blessed him, he said, just do your duty. So we have to do our duty of giving Bhagavatam to other people, giving Krishna's name to other people. So other people may not take it, that's fine, but at least we try from our side, that's a great thing. Like we can take the horse to the river, but we cannot force him to drink water. We can never force a horse. Like, or giving food to somebody, we cannot force him to eat. We can give him the food, but if he doesn't want to eat, we want to stay hungry, that's his choice. So similarly, we have to do our duty, that we tell him about Krishna consciousness, about Lord Krishna, how good it is. We should try our best, If still he doesn't take Krishna consciousness, it's up to him. There are so many people, to preach. At least some will take, and that's our success. Rather than saying these people don't want to do Krishna consciousness, so I'm not going to do that. That's not the proper reason, because we have to make Krishna pleased. Krishna will please by spreading Krishna consciousness to the general mass of people, and that is the best way to do. If people don't take it,
Thank you, Prabhuji. Like, this, I'm already just, trying to say them, the people, the Prabhupada, whatever is my summarizing all the things in the scripture, the Prabhupada already said, there is some independency. The Krishna already give you some independence, if you can do or not.
Right.
Already, I already told them, Prabhuji, I'm just, please verify if it is correct or not.
No, that's correct.
All right, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Like, can I just check that box?
Hare Krishna, I think so. I wanted to add a little bit.
Sure, Prabhu, go ahead.
So the Prabhuji, you can also give the reference from Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter. There are 5 factors contributing for any actions.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the factor is endeavor. So you can say Krishna said that also. So
yes,
they are quoting that Krishna saying that, and Krishna is also saying this. There are 5 factors which will be contributed. So maybe that may convince, because it's already written in the shlokas, and those 5 factors are responsible for any actions.
Mm-hmm.
There is a soul, then there is a soul, then there is a various senses in the body itself, and then the endeavor. These are the 5 things I think I can recall. I don't know exact, but it's in the chapter 18.
Mm-hmm.
Hare Krishna.
No, we have to do endeavor from our side, but it's up to our full maximum capacity. But if somebody takes Krishna consciousness, not, it's up to them actually. It's not up to us. Yeah. But if we are pure and powerful, powerful in the sense, purity is the force. So if we are pure, then probably, like Prabhupada was pure soul. That's what he could spread so fast and so nicely. Because everybody cannot do that kind of preaching, what Prabhupada did. So that purity has to be here, at least in some amount. If there is no purity, if we are contaminated, then we cannot preach actually, So it depends on mercy. It's up to Krishna actually, that he makes us. Like Prabhupada was all the time saying that I'm doing it for my Guru Maharaj, and by his mercy only I could do. So we have to be thankful to our Guru, spiritual master. So that will be a great thing. So anything else, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
All I wanted to say is, yesterday I was talking to Mother Tiffany, and what we were thinking is, even we ourselves have to be very conscious, sometimes very unconsciously. We admire people who have those BMWs or those, we say, oh, do you know they have this, or do you know without even realizing, sometimes we are appreciating somebody for their material success. Do we pay attention to their spiritual success? Do we, so we are always thinking about that word consciousness. We should be very aware of ourselves also,
Mhm.
and
Very true, Mataji.
pay attention to what we admire in other people.
Hmm.
So that's just something I wanted to add. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I wanted to say a little bit. Yesterday, Prabhuji very nicely explained about the Kali Yuga symptoms.
Mhm.
And then I was trying to contemplate, because knowing that symptoms are very nice in the first place, but I was thinking like, what is the common mistake I perform most of the time? Hearing that symptom is making like there are two ways to look at those things. When we see some symptoms from the scriptures, they are made us to warn that this is existing in this society level. And so the first thing would be like, if we hear about that symptoms, then we start thinking, okay, that symptoms does exist in the society, and those symptoms are applying on us also at the same time. So when we see those things, general, which Shubha Radhe Mataji put it very well in words, like we should look at our own consciousness. But generally what happens is we always look outward and want to change outward, not change inward. So that is the first big thing which we fall in the trap. Okay, we wanted to start fixing outward things, looking at those symptoms, that hey, this exists, oh, we cannot do anything about this because this is there. But that is just to warn us that okay, this is existing, but where are you and how you are contributing to those symptoms? That is the introspection one in the consciousness needs to happen. Like, okay, this week these are there outward, and I'm also part of it, of the whole complete system. And how do I really change my consciousness to elevate in that, so generally the first one is easy to point out and see that as a problem and not to do anything about it, but instead just lament about it. And the second is no, thinking that this symptom is just to warn me, and try to look at that as a problem of our life, our own life, our own consciousness, and then try to find a real solution for those. That what are the real solutions to really come out of from that misery, which that was I was contemplating. Like previously, I was not in that consciousness, but slowly, I'm gradually trying to be there.
That's a very good, Prabhu, what you are doing. And we all should actually contemplate and see where we are. We should at least think about that, that we are improving or not improving in our conscience, what kind of consciousness we have, rather than, giving all the philosophy to others, but not taking ourselves. We have to be practical, actually. And we have to be exemplary that we are doing it first, before we tell others, So we should simultaneously also can do, but we should improve ourselves too, very important. This all education is not just for telling others, to follow and not following ourselves. We should follow ourselves first. Then it will be practical preaching, not just telling other people, not following. It will not work also, actually. So thank you, Prabhuji, for your comments.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obedience. So,
Thank
the senior devotee. So I wanted to just know your feedback that the thinking process is right here. Sometimes we
very, very good, Prabhu. Yeah, that's a great. That's a great. We should advise other people also, that everybody should think that way. That way, I'm doing good or not in Krishna consciousness. Think, and that will really help everybody. And thank you for pointing it out.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
How are you, Prabhu?
All right.
Prabhuji, I wanted to say something. Like we can see like Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Maharaj and many other Vaishnavas really like surrender to the Lord. But we can feel also like they are actually situated in this, surrendering the Lord. But how can I we understand that in myself is developing a little spark of surrender unto the Lord? Can we realize that?
Here we can realize that through that our interest in the material things are getting less and less. That way we can imagine that because if we don't, we cannot be in the both world, material world and spiritual world at this simultaneously. We have to give up slowly. I know anybody cannot just give up all the things and walk out, for Krishna consciousness. So we have to slowly give up the material things, and taking interest in material things, taking more and more interest in the spiritual things, Krishna conscious activities. And that will be best solution for all of us. Yeah, and we will feel that. Because ourselves we can judge. Nobody from outside, even if husband cannot judge that you are improving in bhakti or not. You have to think yourself, feel yourself that I'm actually losing taste for bhakti. Before I was watching news myself, every single day, or at least 3 times a week, like 3-4 years ago. But slowly I say, what is the use of hearing that, wasting 20 minutes or half an hour, watching the news, and then those news keep going in the brain, thinking about this thing happened, this guy was murdered, what about all these things, So I stopped completely watching. The same thing, like I was watching movies 10-15 years ago, but then I thought, what is the use? Just little entertainment for few hours, couple hours, and living in that world. But those songs and everything, stays in your brain for years and years. It doesn't go away. So not listening to those filmy songs, not watching any movies, that will definitely help. And then you lose the taste, once you come to Krishna consciousness, then know what is the real duty of human being. So we can give up things like that slowly, and doing Krishna conscious activity in the family, like doing puja, cooking for Lord, making all these things we can do, cleaning the house, because this house is not our house, it's a Krishna's house. Actually, we are cleaning for Krishna. So all those activity, people can work for Krishna also and give whatever is the results of the fruit, from Krishna conscious activity for their home deities and everything, and for the temple also. So that way it can be done, Yeah, so we should not be greedy, and we should not worry about the results of our activities, that I will enjoy with this, I will have nice car, and then I will go here and I will go here, I will enjoy this way, enjoy that way. That mentality we should not have. But yes, of course, we enjoy more in Krishna consciousness than outside. That's for sure. But we have to judge ourselves, evaluate ourselves, not judge ourselves, but evaluate ourselves that I'm progressing in bhakti or not. And this is the way that our taste for the material things, we will lose the taste actually. And we are losing or not, that we have to think about that.
Thank
So
you.
Mataji, I hope that helped you a little bit, but if you
Yes, sir.
need more discussion, we can do definitely that.
All right, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. I think a good way to start our week. Lots of things for us to contemplate on. We'll meet everybody this evening for the Sunday Feast program.
Okay, so Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.